How's it going, guys? Gamer Logic here, and today I wanted to talk about the Midwest Gaming Classic 2013, some of my pickups from the show. But before we get into that, I kind of wanted to show you the brand new Gamer Logic t-shirt. Pretty cool. I finally found a t-shirt from a company that does good quality. You know, I tried a couple online places like Cafe Press, Zazzle. I really wasn't digging the quality, so I was able to meet up with a local guy that did t-shirts around my area here, and he printed a couple off. And actually I did a posting on the Gamer Logic Facebook fan page asking if anyone was interested in grabbing a t-shirt, buying a t-shirt or two. And we had about 6 buys, which is pretty cool, and I pretty much just made to what was ordered, so these are really limited edition. The reason why I made them so limited and really didn't announce it on YouTube or anything was, one, I really didn't know how many people were going to be interested, and two, I'm kind of curious on the long-term quality of these, how they last in the wash, how they work for other people, if they tear easy, stuff like that. So who knows? The feedback is really good on the t-shirt and there's a lot of demand for it. Maybe I'll do more of a press of t-shirts. Obviously, the more I order, the cheaper it gets. I think t-shirts were kind of going around 17 to 20 bucks depending on what size it was and where the person was at worldwide. So not too bad, but kind of cool. Nice to have an official Gamer Logic t-shirt. Now, this doesn't mean I'm always going to wear it on the show, because obviously you know who I am if you're watching, but just kind of cool. So let's get back into the Midwest Gaming Classic here. This is the 5th year, I believe, I've gone. And it's always a fantastic show. It's at the Sheraton in Brookfield, Wisconsin. And if you've never checked the event out before, I have done previous videos on it, but quite honestly, I got sick of doing videos just because the event's getting more and more packed, this year especially, and I don't have the patience anymore to dodge people and try to hold a camera. So I did not get any footage of the event, unfortunately, but if you do want to check it out, I just watched it a little while ago. Crow on Facebook here did a fantastic job covering almost the entire event. I think he pretty much got everything. It's a 30-minute video. If you want a walking tour of what it's like at the Midwest Gaming Classic, go ahead and check out his video. His video definitely gets the scope of how busy things are there. So, and just like I said, it keeps getting busier and busier every year, and I think the Midwest Gaming Classic has definitely outgrown the Sheraton. So maybe they may want to think about a different venue eventually, or maybe they just want to try to rearrange things. But it was getting so packed and it was so busy this year and so full of so many vendors and stuff and sponsors at the show that people were actually renting out hotel rooms to host their events or their booths and stuff. Nintendo Age had a booth. Spooky Pinball Podcast had their own room for a booth, essentially. There was some group rented out a room for light guns, which I thought was pretty cool. And it was neat that they rented out rooms even though the venue itself was out of space, but they're just kind of hard to get in and get out. But overall cool that people were doing that. But it was a great show. Ben Heck was there. There were tons of pinball machines, tons of arcade games to play. Galloping Ghost was there. DK Pinball was there. I'll talk a little bit more about that. And of course, Vendor Mania. That's probably one of my favorite parts of the show, is all the different vendors, because you find stuff so easily, and yeah, you may pay a little bit more, but the key is dealing with the vendors is you have to negotiate with them. So you can get a good deal if you try, and sometimes you got to wait a little bit, come back later, maybe the next day, because they want to get out of there, don't want to bring all that stuff back, but you kind of got to negotiate on things. So overall, great event. Brought my little brother, brought my friend Rick. We had a great time playing games, trying different stuff out, and just socializing and interacting with all the different people there. A great time for sure. So now, I mentioned DK Pinball. DK Pinball is actually my buddy Chad and my buddy Mike. I met them from purchasing my F-14 Tomcat, and they are now doing pinball modifications. They've done a lot of different things for different machines, and their big thing they're doing is the Pig 2, which is basically a board that allows you to hook up to different parts of the machine and run different program variants and stuff to do almost an infinite amount of possibilities with the machine. So you really got to be imaginative to do it. Now, what they wanted to do with my particular F-14 Tomcat was put a shaker motor in there, and they did that. They installed a Pig 2, put a shaker motor in there, and now it shakes the whole pinball machine at certain aspects of the game, which is really cool. So they took it to the show. and played it off there. And I guess they said that the machines were getting played non-stop. Chad's Star Wars was getting played like crazy, my F-14 was getting played like crazy, and Mike's Tales from the Crypt was getting played like crazy. Good showing for them. I really hope and wish them the best. If you want to check them out, I believe it's dkpinball.com. I'll put the link in the video description. But part of the deal was that if my F-14 went to the show, I got to keep the shaker motor. So I am the owner of probably the only F-14 Tomcat in the world with a shaker motor and a Pig 2. So pretty damn cool there. So yeah, great show. Let's talk about some of the pickups I got. And I got a lot, and I think this is everything I've grabbed. I put most of the stuff on the shelves and thought, oh man, I should have did a video first before I grabbed all this stuff. So I'm just going to start from right to left, box on box and stuff. First up, we have Murder on the Mississippi. Unfortunately, it's very Japanese, text heavy. It's kind of like an adventure game. But it's a detective game, basically, if you think like Maniac Mansion or a point-and-click deal. And you're basically trying to solve a murder mystery on the Mississippi. I saw it demonstrated once on Game Center CX, and that's the reason I wanted to pick it up. Maybe someone fan-translated it, I don't know. Ninja Gaiden 1, the original, on the Famicom, boxed. Really cool. You know, I've actually been trying to get the NES Famicom, the NES Ninja Gaiden games boxed, and it's not that easy to do anymore. For those of you who don't know, Ninja Gaiden was the first NES game my dad ever bought me, so I have a really special place in my heart next to it. Unfortunately, like many of us, we either threw out our NES boxes or lost our instruction manuals and stuff. I don't know what happened to that, and that's really unfortunate. So I only have my original cartridge. So I've been looking for boxed Ninja Gaiden stuff. Was only able to find 2 at the show, but for the Famicom I was able to get 1, and I was actually able to get 3, which from what I understand, the Japanese version is actually the essential version out of the American Ninja Gaiden Trilogy Super NES version. And this, a little bit easier, a little bit more flexible, and I believe this has a password system too, if I'm recalling correctly, or the ability to have unlimited continues. I don't remember off the top of my head, but glad to have both of these boxed. And going into some boxed Super Famicom stuff, Street Fighter 2, can't go wrong with that. Dragon Quest 6, Japanese heavy, but oh well. This was another one that was featured on Game Center CX. This is almost another one of those adventure type games, but there's different prompts. Another murder mystery. They call it a sound novel, which is a little interesting. I don't remember the exact translation, but I think this is like Revenge of the Sickle Weasel or something like that. Sickle Weasel, something like that. But essentially you're at a ski lodge and all these different murderers start happening and you're trying to figure out who the murderer is. So pretty interesting. Again, very Japanese text heavy. Don't think there's a translation for this one, unfortunately, but Rise of the Sickle Weasel, something like that. But cool game nonetheless. Those of you know I'm a huge pro wrestling fan, and one of the greater wrestling games out there, at least on the Super NES, Super Famicom, Super Fire Pro Wrestling X. Love this game. Have a Famicom copy, wanted to get a boxed copy, was able to get this cheap, so I figured, why not? Tactics Ogre, Let Us Cling Together, decent strategy game. Very text heavy obviously for this version, but I have a translated version as well. I figured why not pick up the Super Famicom version. Probably one of my happiest pickups I was able to get, especially considering that this just got released on the Japanese Wii U console, is Mother 2. And actually Game Center CX just played this for Wii U special as well, so I wonder if the price of this particular version is going to go up or not. For those of you who don't know what Mother 2 is, it is Earthbound over here in America. Earthbound box goes for an extremely insane amount of money. I have a US copy, not boxed, and I'm not going to pay $500 or whatever it is now to get a boxed copy, right? So I figured, hey, I can get Mother 2 complete boxed, has everything with it, and I'm a happy guy. Great game. Wish it would come out on Virtual Console over here just so more people can play it. You're really missing out if you haven't played this game. Some CD-based games. First on Sega Saturn import here we have Assault Suit Lanos 2. If you're unfamiliar with this series, this is actually, if I'm remembering correctly, is the sequel to Cybernator over here in America. I believe Cybernator over in Japan is Assault Suit Lanos 1, I want to say. Or it's a part of the same Assault Suit series. There's a whole bunch of different offshoot games for it, but this is essentially the closest sequel you can get to Cybernator. It's really hard, kind of heavy text-wise, but a lot of fun. I had a pirated copy of it and saw this at the show and wanted to pick it up, so that's pretty cool. Very, very happy that I was able to get this. This is the original special edition of the PS1 Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Dracula X Nocturne in the Moonlight, if I'm remembering the Japanese translation title. What's special about this one is it comes with a art book, and it actually comes with a extra music CD as well. And this is one of my favorite games of all time, so I had to pick this up when I saw it. Got a pretty good deal on this too. Some loose games here that I got from Chris over at Windy Gaming. Choplifter. I used to love this on Commodore 64. Loved it to death. Don't think it ever came out for the NES over here, but did come out for Famicom, and I had to pick it up because this is so much fun. Simple, mindless fun. Japanese version of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Great game. Super Fire Pro Wrestling Special. I believe this is one I don't have, which is why I picked it up. Like I said, I love the Fire Pro Wrestling games, and the price is right. Rock and Roll Racing. This is a classic game. I only rented it once. Haven't played it in a long, long time, but I've never been able to find a cheap copy for the Super Nintendo, and even find one in the wild, so I got the Japanese equivalent. Got a great price on this one as well, so couldn't pass it up. Now we get into boxed NES stuff. Infiltrator on the NES. Kind of a weird game. It had all these different modes on it. Helicopter mode, an overview mode, and then like an inside a base mode. It's kind of a difficult game, but I remember seeing it in Nintendo Power and really enjoying the whole concept of it and renting it. And I had a hell of a time with it, but I kind of want to play it again just to see if I can get through it. My buddy Rick was looking through these in our hotel room, and he was reading the back of the box and was laughing his ass off. Just the beginning of it. You're Captain Johnny Jimbo Baby McGibbets, the Infiltrator, ace helicopter pilot, ballistics expert, rock star, motorcycle racer, and all-around good guy. And let's see. Fly through the enemy airspace in your Gizmo DHX-3 attack chopper, better known as the Snuff Master. Wow. So, very interesting box art description there. Ninja Gaiden 2, great game. Haven't seen a boxed copy of this in a long, long, long time. Last time I saw this was actually at the video store it was at back when it came out in 1990. Box is in decent shape. The guy was willing to work with me on the price, so I got it for a pretty good deal. So technically with this, my Ninja Gaiden trilogy collection in terms of the original 8-bit games are complete if you count the Famicom and the NES versions. Speaking of original trilogies, I got Castlevania complete, Castlevania 2 complete, and Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse complete. And I love these games. As you know, I'm a huge fan of the Castlevania series, and I was able to get a great deal because I bundled all three, worked with the seller there, and he was able to give me these at a great price. Complete, can't go wrong with that. Really happy to have complete copies in my possession again. Finally, we get to the last of the box stuff. Out of This World, great game, kind of difficult. Lots of fun. Got this for $3. Super Mario RPG, complete, great shape, great manual, all the inserts and everything. Never finished this, really looking forward to playing through this. Secret of Mana, box complete. The guy that was selling this was asking for a really high price, and there is some dings and stuff on the box. There's a little bit of markings and stuff on there, so I was able to negotiate very, very well on the price with him. I actually got it for a pretty good deal. It's got the map, it's got all the inserts, which makes me really happy. So Tecmo Secret of the Stars. Now, this isn't a particularly good RPG, but I remember renting this and getting stuck very early in the game, and it was supposed to be really easy, so I don't know why I got stuck. But I got so frustrated with the game that I was never able to finish it, had to take it back, and then when I went to go rent it again, it was missing from the video store back in the day. So I got this again for a really good price, so I couldn't pass up picking again and playing it. $5, Final Fight boxed. Really happy to get this. I think there may be a little bit of fading on the box, not quite sure, but the reason I grabbed this for $5 is I have Final Fight 2 and Final Fight 3 complete and boxed, and I wanted to complete the first 3 games in boxed format at least. I've been thinking about getting Final Fight Guy, but with the fact that I'm working on upgrades for the house this year, I'm going to do wood floors and stuff, I'm not going to really be concentrating on picking up any more retro stuff for a while, so that'll have to wait some other time. Finally, another one of my really loved games on the Super Nintendo, and that is SOS. This is a complete boxed and sealed copy of the game. I've never seen a boxed copy of this game in quite some time. The last time I saw it was again at the original video store, rented it back in the day, so I couldn't pass this up, had to pick it up. One of my favorites, definitely a unique game, had to get it sealed. I have a regular copy, so. And finally, I got this from Windy Gaming from Chris. Actually came up to the booth just to talk to him for a bit, and he said he had a gift for me, another one with some great artwork, and he gave me Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time, which is awesome. I had this on Super Nintendo back in the day, and it must have got lost. Either we let a friend borrow it, or my little brother borrowed it out to somebody, or it just didn't make it back. But it's awesome to have the Super Famicom version, and awesome because it has a cooler artwork, and also awesome because I didn't have it previously. So thank you very much, Chris from Windy Gaming, for that. And I also picked up a Nintendo 3DS XL. Kind of funny considering I don't play my regular 3DS very much, but now Mandy, my wife, has been using it for the Professor Layton games as well as a couple other things. And I really wanted to play Fire Emblem, so I decided to pick up this system and get everything transferred over. Because I'm an ambassador, I picked up the original 3DS on launch day. I actually got a whole bunch of free games, and rather than playing Fire Emblem, I'm actually playing Metroid Fusion right now, which is the first time I've ever really played it. Great game, really loving that so far. And actually, I got one more loose game here that I didn't realize was over here, and that is Impossible Mission 2. Love the original on Commodore. Have never really seen this before in person, so for $10 I figured why not. It might be shit. It is an American Video Entertainment game, which I think they made a whole bunch of weird-ass games, so we'll have to see. But overall, that's all my pickups, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a great time at the show, and that's all for now. Peace.